episode of Creative Writing Advice with me, JJ Barnes. If you don't know me, I'm JJ and I'm the author of How to Write a Story. It's out now on Amazon and I take you from the beginning of your story through to the end and I cover everything in between. So what I want to do with this book, with this YouTube series and with the blog I write is help bring more stories out into the world, help to inspire you, help you find your ability to write that story you've always wanted to write and haven't known where to begin. So today I'm going to be talking about how to write dystopia. Now this is probably going to have to be the first in a lot of videos about dystopia because I'm only going to be talking about one aspect of dystopia, and it's a commonly occurring theme. It's not an essential theme for dystopia, but it's commonly occurring enough, and I'm going to talk about why and how to do it yourself. Because dystopia means a future that is terrible. There is a lot wrong with it. It's a sort of commentary on society where you discover all the things that are wrong in our future. It's one of those things where you read it and you're like, oh no, I hope this doesn't happen. So a really commonly occurring theme in a dystopian story is the attempt to erase human suffering. So think 1984, think Brave New World. I just read a book called Behind Blue Eyes, which is again trying to erase human suffering. It is where you as a corporation, as a government, a entity tries to create a perfect world by erasing human suffering. But in order to do that, it requires every single person in that world to obey very strict rules that are how you can function without suffering, which is kind of functioning without emotion. So it's saying obey everything, don't think, don't challenge, and you will be happy. But so much of human emotion, so much of humanity is challenging, and you fall in love, you have pain, you have heartbreak. It's normal. In Brave New World, they try and stop that by banning monogamy. If everyone is sleeping with everybody else, you're never going to fall in love. You're never going to have your heart broken. In 1984, you're never able to think about potential disaster because they tell you what to think and you obey. In Behind Blue Eyes, again, it's following exactly very, very strict rules on how to function so that you don't ever have pain and suffering. But the erasure of pain and suffering creates pain and suffering because it's not normal and we can't function like that. But then you're required to lie, and that is how the societies function. They function through lie. But not everyone can do that, and that's how you get the outliers in a dystopian society, which is the proles, which is the people who, the savages, which is the people who are escaping that world. And Behind Blue Eyes, the attempt to stop people revealing the truth, they are hunted down and killed, because if they have been able to thrive and function outside of that society, they have to be killed, because that tells people in the society that it's actually possible to live another way, and they need to convince you that you can't live another way. Which tells you a lot about humanity. And as I say, dystopian fiction, it's trying to change, it's trying to take something fundamental about us and teach us why it matters, which in this case is pain. If you have no pain in your life, you also can't have true happiness. And that's a really sad fact about humanity, but that is what dystopia teaches us, and that's what you can write into your dystopian story. The attempt to erase all pain creates pain, but it doesn't create happiness. So you can take away the pain of trying to have a child, of childbirth, of pregnancy, by, in Brave New World, creating babies in labs. But then you never have the happiness and the joy of motherhood and parenting. You get no pain from baby making, but you get no joy from child rearing. And trying to isolate in your mind when you're writing your dystopian story, what matters most to you. So for me, the baby thing is very relevant to me, and it stands out to me as a part of a good story because my children and my life as a mother matters to me a lot, and I adore my children more than I can say. So the idea of having that taken away from me, yes, I suffered in pregnancy. I was very, very ill. I was hospitalized. I was on intensive care during my second child's pregnancy. I was very, very ill, and I don't want to have any more babies, partly for that reason. But also, the actual raising of my children is the world to me. So I understand the pain and suffering of making the children, but I also understand the joy of having them. And that is what is ripped out of the society in Brave New World. The love of the children. And it's easy, if you think about the things that matter the most in your life, take them away, but trying to make it look like it's for their benefit. Because really the things that we love the most also hurt. The ability to fall in love, you get your heart broken. It hurts. It's painful. But then when you have it and it doesn't end, it's beautiful. If you take away the pain of a loving relationship, you take away the joy of having one. And this is something that is so core in dystopian stories, that erasing the pain of something erases the joy. That we can grow on that. We can work with that in so many different ways. And it's really fascinating. I think I like dystopian stories partly for this reason, because when you explore humanity through taking away things that are supposed to be bad, and thus taking away joy, you start to really understand how our emotions are so fundamentally connected to one another. Without sadness, you have no happiness, because you have nothing to compare it to, and so often sadness feeds happiness. And as I say, it makes sense for a dystopia, because understanding that is not a pleasant thing. It doesn't feel good to know that you need pain and despair in your life, because so much of what we do is trying to erase pain and despair. I don't want my children ever to have sadness in their lives, so I try my best to make it so they aren't sad. But the more we do that, and as a society the more we do that, the more we try and erase all the negativity, get rid of all diseases, get rid of all sadness, get rid of all circumstances that cause pain, the more joy we take away as well. And at the minute, I don't think we are doing that yet, because we are being able to erase illnesses that, well, not erase them, but cure them or prevent them. Illnesses that cause massive damage and pain to us that we don't want. We are able to make it so we can get rid of our headache with a pill. We are able to make so we can get rid of our sadness with a pill. We're doing that now, but at the minute it's good. We want to do that. We want it so that when we miss somebody, we can see them on a screen. We are doing all this, and I benefit from it and don't want to change it. So believe me, I'm not saying in any way that what we have now is bad. But if you grow what we have now into the extreme, that is how you get dystopia. And Black Mirror does it excellently. Black Mirror takes the things that we benefit from now in society, like social media, like the up-and-coming robotics things, and it pushes it to such an extreme place that it becomes dystopia. And that is what we can do. And as I say, looking at the sorrow and pain and sadness in our lives and trying to erase it, also erasing the joy, is such a prevalent theme in dystopian stories that I particularly look for it and like it. And so for this video, yeah, on dystopia, as I say, there are going to be more. I'll do more. I've kind of touched on a few of them now because I find it fascinating. And I've never personally written dystopia, though I've read a lot of it and watched a lot of it. If you want to write dystopia, try erasing pain from your characters' lives. Develop the fact that that means you are also erasing joy. And then have your outliers of society who experience pain, but are choosing to experience pain because it means they get to experience joy. And that is my first lesson in writing dystopia. And as I say, I've probably wandered a bit, and I'm sorry, because this is something that really interests me, and so sometimes my head gets a bit muddled when I'm talking about it, but I hope it's made sense. Joy and pain being connected, erasing one erases the other. You have a great dystopian story there. So thank you very much. Talk to me, please. Tell me your favourite dystopian stories. Handmaid's Tale, as I say, Brave New World, Fahrenheit 451. There's so many, and they're all different. And obviously there are a lot of dystopian stories that don't necessarily deal with the themes of erasing pain to erase joy. But tell me about those ones as well, because I can do more videos on them, because I think they're fascinating, they're worth discussing. But in terms of human psychology, they are fascinating as well. So talk to me. What dystopian stories do you love and why? You can also subscribe to this channel. I put out a video every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9:30 AM. I do all sorts of different storycraft, not just dystopia, all like characterization and structure, everything like that. I try to break it down and reference pop culture things that hopefully will make sense to you. I want it to be accessible and understandable to everybody. Also, you can go to my website, which is jjbarnes.co.uk. Over there I'm linking all my blogs, my books, my art, my photography, everything like that. Come find me. Come talk to me on social media. Tell me what you're reading, tell me what you're watching, tell me what you're doing and working on. I'd love to hear all about it. So thank you very much for watching another one of my videos, and I'll be back again soon. Bye.